So we are Eagle Builders. We're super excited to be here today and present on the LHPS Center for Innovation Academics. So real quick, just want you guys to meet the team, really get to know who's on the project. So my name is Matthew Adkins. I'm the project engineer manager. I've been in the construction industry for 23 years now. I've done plenty of educational facilities here in the Orlando area. So I'm super excited to be on this project team. Go ahead and take it, Logan.
Thanks, Matt. My name is Logan. I'm the lead estimator here at Eagle Builders. I've been in the industry for 20 years, and prior to joining the industry, I was a CB in the Navy.
Hi, my name is Molly. I'll be the superintendent on the project. I'll be here throughout the duration of the project. I have just over 15 years of experience. If I can just reiterate what Matt started with, thank you guys so much for the opportunity to be here today.
I'm Nick Bartholomew. I'm the safety manager proposed for this project. I have 18 years of experience as a safety professional. And I spent a couple years as an Alaskan crab fisherman, so I know all about mitigating risk. I'm really excited to get a chance to work on this project. Now, I'll pass it on to Logan to talk about the estimate.
Thanks, Nick. Here in front of you, you'll see the subtotal cost of work, our GCs and our GRs, which come out to $28,235,000 for this project. In the graph next to it, you'll see pretty high numbers for MEP divisions. Those really drive the cost of this project. So here you see the work that we'll be self-performing on this job. We do this to drive cost, control the schedule, and ensure quality on our projects. And I'll pass it off to Molly, who's one of the best supers in the business.
Thanks so much, Logan. That's a very generous introduction. So overall, sequencing-wise, we're going to go east to west, move away from some of the adjacent structures, which I'll go on to a little bit next. Oh, my apologies. Key milestones comes first. So key milestones for the project are going to be starting foundations middle of June of this upcoming summer, going into having the superstructure complete by the end of the year in the middle of December. Starting drywall beginning of March of 24. We think that's going to be the easiest and most efficient way to get the building ready to go for TCO later. But first will come the building envelope being enclosed middle of May, and then getting TCO middle of June. We understand it's very critical for this building to be up and functioning for the 2024-2025 school year, and we're going to work our best to make sure that happens. So after the building of the Innovation Hub, we understand the Hale and Johnson halls are going to be demoed after that. So we believe demo can be complete by the end of September of 24, with the parking lot and the parent drop-offs open the end of November. Moving into some of the logistics, we're calling phase one the building of the Innovation Hub. So key highlights to mention on logistics, we're going to offer no on-site parking will be available to any of our trade partners, and us included. We're going to utilize a shuttle system and just keep a few buses on rather than like 50 cars or so. Additionally, we understand it's very important to maintain the active pedestrian walkways. You can kind of see that red dashed line. I apologize, it might be hard to see on this larger screen. Is going to be the proposed pedestrian pathway that we plan to utilize with adequate signage and make sure all proper barriers are there to make sure the kids stay safe during the duration of our construction. Additionally, we plan to coordinate deliveries with our trade partners to not interrupt with any school activities. That could be anything from school drop-off, school pickup. If there's a big football game, the homecoming dance, whatever, just keeping that line of communication open with the school to best accommodate their needs as well. Additionally, I mentioned a little bit earlier, but the adjacent structures of Hale and Johnson Hall, well, those will be demoed. They won't be during this phase, so we need to protect those structures while we're doing the new construction before we can demo them. Go to the next slide, please. And then phase two is going to be the demolition of Hale and Johnson Hall. As you can see, those boxes in red. A lot of the same concerns there. We want to maintain the use. We understand the CNL Stadium will need to be open for use for football, for soccer, all the school activities. So making sure there's adequate parking. You can see a little parking lot kind of on the bottom of the screen there. Will remain open, throughout the extent of this phase. Similar to the first phase, no trucking, no deliveries within critical school activities as defined by the school and us through open communication. And then with the new Innovation Hub being finished, we need to protect it while we demo these buildings down. That'll stay to be a hot concern. Very quickly, we're going to fly through kind of the logistics model we have for the job. So right now, we're going to be running around the proposed pedestrian pathway. And you'll kind of come around Hale and Johnson Halls, and we'll head towards the site. Might probably moving a little faster. I should slow down so you can see the video. But yeah, as we come around, you'll see the main entrance to the construction site. And then we'll loop back around towards the main school building. Yeah, while this is a lengthy pathway, I believe it's the safest way to keep the kids away from any construction activities. In a minute here, I'll go ahead and start. We're going to fly over the top of it to where the new innovation hub is at. In this, I really want to focus on how close the new building is going to be from Hale and Johnson Halls. We understand this is a hot risk. Nick will cover it more in his safety plan, but making sure both buildings can function and all students are going to be safe throughout. And with that, I'll hand it over to Nick for safety.
Thank you, Molly. Logistics goes hand in hand with safety, and as always, Molly's delivered with a great logistics plan. So we are OSHA VPP, Volunteer Protection Program. We are also ABC Step Diamond contractors. We take pride in these achievements. It just really shows that we have safe job sites all across. So I'll talk about some of the risk. So fall protection, that's a big one, especially on our elevated concrete pours that we will be self-performing. Struck by hazards, like Molly said, and demolition. We'll have people, they'll be supervising to make sure that everyone's safe around. Public safety, so we'll have signage, enclosed area. We really want to educate the community on all the risks because they're not used to construction sites like we are. So we really want to educate the community, keep them safe, as well as dust control during demolition. That'll be a huge part. So heat stress, as in Florida, like all our jobs, it's always hot. So we want to keep our workers safe from the heat. So we'll have cool down tents as well as water coolers across the site. Night work, that'll be critical with concrete. So we'll be performing that at night with approval from owner and our RFIs. And so with that, it helps quality of the concrete. It's crucial. So we'll have proper lighting for that. And then mental health, it's a big issue in construction. We really want to push that. So how we do that is really our pre-planning. So we want to make sure that everything goes smoothly so it takes stress away from the workers. And we also want to make it an inclusive job site where the workers feel comfortable and they want to come into work every day. They prefer our job sites just because it's a clean place, good culture overall. And like we said, it's our goal every day that all the workers go home to their families happy and healthy, as well as keep our community safe, such as your students. And now I'll pass it on to Matt to talk about quality.
Great job, Nick. Just want to talk to you a little bit about quality control here. This is of the utmost importance for Eagle Builders. It's very important that we please the owner. So talk a little bit about procurement. Post-COVID era, there are quite a few pieces of equipment in the building that are currently spec'd that are all on lead items, including the air handlers and some of the electrical gear. So we've identified all the critical procurement items, and that's a part of our aggressive start plan, actually. We're working with the subcontractors to get these submittals in early. The second you guys can award us, the faster we can work with the contractors, place it on order, and really work with them. So procurement, as far as that goes, we foresee no problems at this time because of that. So pre-mobilization, this is something, it again hits on the aggressive start plan. Really just working with the subcontractors, going over their bids, really making sure that they have everything included in their scopes of work, so make sure everything's covered pretty much. So going into pre-installation, for every critical piece of work, glazing, metal panels, concrete, et cetera, we will work with the subcontractors, meet with them, meet with the foreman, meet with the workers. We'll have our safety guy in the meeting. We'll have a quality control guy in the meeting. Really, this is to talk with the subcontractors about the piece of work. How's it going to go? How's it going to flow? What are some potential safety hazards, et cetera? So we do this on all critical pieces of work. Going into inspections, so we do go ahead and inspect all first work. So, the first time someone paints something, we're going to go and check it. First time a metal panel gets set in, we go and check it. This really ensures the quality of the product throughout the building. And of course, we have our part-time quality manager that will be visiting our site weekly to conduct some of these quality control inspections. Moving on. So we really just want to hit the summary real quick. So Eagle Builders, we do have expertise in K through 12 and education. This is a passion of ours as a company. We've done this for plenty of time. I personally have a daughter in the LHPS system, so I'm personally invested in the project. I'm really excited to be here. We are able to drive the schedule and control some of the costs because of the self-perform work. Already touched on the aggressive plan. We want to prioritize you, the client, and we do want to say that we're going to work together to build a better future. So thank you for allowing us to be here, and this time we're ready to field any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the presentation and the wide considerations you've made, and particularly, in considering mental health of the craft. On kicking off some of the questions and answers that our selection panel has for you this afternoon, I wanted to ask about cost escalation. Just being aware of the environment that we're in, how have you guys taken into consideration the risks? How have you ensured that you're managing that risk and it doesn't affect our budget? And any conversations you've had with key trade partners on that risk for cost escalation?
That's a great question. We have a variety of risk mitigation strategies. Go ahead, Logan.
Yeah, so part of our plan is to lock down contracts with vendors and subcontractors early on, so those costs don't continue to escalate throughout the project. We've also kept a close eye on lead times for the electrical equipment, mechanical equipment, to make sure that we can get those things on the site with a lower cost.
So you said you were ABC Diamond Step Award winners. As the owner's rep, Diamond, man, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
But what does that actually mean, and what does that mean for us?
So pretty much what we do, we apply for the application. That's our safety director does that. And it pretty much just shows you that we have a great reputation. ABC, a great organization, has said that we're one of the safer contractors in the area. If there were to be an accident on your job as the owner, it could do really bad PR for the school. And it could potentially cost you guys a lot of money as well.
Could you expand on your outreach or planned outreach efforts to meet the 15% small business goal that you guys are trying to achieve?
Yeah, I can go ahead and speak on that a little bit. So we do have an internal contractor directory. This is all the contractors in the area that we've worked with before, that we've reached out to. We have targeted certain packages, that would most easily be able to find these MWV, BVE contractors. So we've pre-qualified them, which means we've checked their insurance, we've negotiated some of their rates, we've worked with them before. We're super excited to do this, hit that 15% goal. We really don't see any problems meeting that goal, and that's how we're going to get there.
Thank you. And then I have a completely unrelated question. Nick, if I read the slide right, you are an Alaska fisherman in your previous life? So what have you brought forward with your experience as an Alaska fisherman to construction safety?
So as an Alaskan crab fisherman, kind of what I brought on, I gained a lot of camaraderie with the people on the boat. So that kind of helps me get along with the guys out in the field and women out in the field. So I'm really used to like that family environment, especially. That's kind of how our job trailer is as well. And then in addition, it's very dangerous out there. And so you're dealing with risk all the time. So I'm used to kind of the hectic atmosphere. So moving from there to construction, it's almost kind of an easy jump.
Thank you.
I got one. Kind of talking about risk. Matt, you were a license in skydiving. How does that work? How do you get that?
Yeah. So when I was in college, I went through a certification process. I just love skydiving, do it every weekend. So I thought, I do it all the time. Why can't I make some side money, on the weekends? So every weekend, go out, I'm scheduled. I go out with someone and they go ahead and pay me to go ahead and train them to do skydiving. So it's something fun I do. It's on the weekends. So yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you.
We're just going to keep rolling with this. Molly, I saw that you are into winemaking in your free time. Can you advise on the grapes in the region you prefer?
Oh, that's a really tough one. I'd say I'm more of like a white wine person, but like I really enjoy taking my like vacation to go to California and like do a little bit like hand picking and then like FedEx and back. But thank you.
I thought y'all did a really good job thinking about pedestrian access on the job site between the site utilization plan and the video that you put together. One thing I did notice is that your main delivery gate is right at one of the pedestrian paths. Do you have any intention of putting a person out there full time to mitigate any sort of potential risk there, or what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I would say you need at least 1 or 2 spotters if you're gonna be backing trucks in. One to make sure, hey, the truck's not gonna hit the gate, and then 2 to make sure pedestrians are stopping, not walking, rerouting them kind of across the street. I think it's gonna be coordination with our trade partners, myself, the assistant super, whoever's on site to make sure we can get the trucks in.
I have a question regarding your estimate. I see you're carrying the owner contingency at 3%. Do you have any contractor contingency? And additionally, do you have any line item for escalation to the midpoint construction?
Yeah, that's a great question regarding contingency within the contractors buying out all the subcontracts. If you want to go ahead and take that, Logan.
Yeah, so on the cost escalation side, we have some risk calculated into our number for areas of concern. I'd have to get back to you on the specifics of those.
Have any of your subcontractors given you a deadline for how long any pricing they've given you is good for?
Correct. Most of our subcontractors have given us 2 weeks. Now, we have excellent relationships with all of our subcontractors, so usually they don't try to start holding us to that until about a month out. I will mention that we have not bought out any subcontracts at this point. We are waiting for the notice to proceed to actually buy out the subcontracts. So, yeah.
On your all's list of scopes you're going to self-perform, I noticed fire protection was one of them, correct?
Yes.
You guys licensed in that in the state of Florida?
Yes, all our general trades guys out on site are all trained in fire caulking as one of the more or less requirements for our guys.
Can you elaborate a little bit more on all of the scopes you intend to self-perform on this job, as well as how you intend to address on any labor shortages issues you may see?
Yeah, we'd be happy to go ahead and address that.
Yeah, so concrete is a big one for our company. Labor shortage-wise, we have guys in-house that will be doing that, so we don't foresee any difficulties with any labor or labor shortages there. Can you repeat the rest of your question? Sorry.
Outside of, it sounds like fire suppression and concrete, are you self-performing any other scopes?
Yes, rough carpentry, and as well as casework and doors and hardware as well.
Yeah, I've got a question for the crab fishermen.
Yep.
So you guys are self-performing your concrete. You did specifically mention dust control during the demo.
Yep.
And you also mentioned OSHA BPP
Yep.
slideshow. How do you plan to adhere to the OSHA regulations regarding silica dust control, considering that you guys are going to be working a lot with the concrete?
Yeah, so with the silica dust, we'll mostly be using ready mix, so it'll already be mixed and wet. As needed, we'll spray water around the site if we're using dry mix. And that's pretty much how we plan to mitigate that. We'll also have masks available for all workers if they would like them.
A question here. On your premium calculation worksheet, you have numbers for snow rates per month of blizzard exposure. Is this something you're foreseeing in Florida? And if not, would that be changed to extreme heat exposure?
Great question.
Yes, we calculated in the snow rates more so as a precautionary measure. So that bond would change in the case that there are no snow or winter weather troubles.
So this is a K through 12 campus, and construction sites can be scary, also intriguing. Are you planning on putting different dinosaur pictures along the fence, or what's the intent there to make this a little more appealing to the K through 12 kids?
That's a good question. What we've previously done on our job sites is really engage the community. That's going to these school districts, asking them if they can do like a contractor for a day sort of deal, where we don't exactly invite the kiddos onto our job site, but we show them our bigger pieces of construction. Kind of meet the team, talk to the community leaders, meet the parents, just to really put a face to eco construction. We've done that on school districts previously with great success. Can't say we've ever put any dinosaurs on our site signage. However, as the owner, if you feel like that's the best way to address that problem, we'd be more than happy to get some custom dinosaur artwork on our site.
Can you speak to how you intend to manage the submittal phase and how you strike the balance between time frame of getting approval and quality reviews?
Yeah, that's really it's really a balance. We feel as though there's certain submittals, we kind of have like a submittal tracker that really puts all the submittals, so we know exactly what needs to be submitted, and we kind of have an internal time frame. So if it's something as critical as electrical gear, that's one of the first things that's going to be reviewed. And as far as quality versus just submitting it, we haven't had any previous problems with taking too quickly to review a submittal. I'm super confident that our team would take plenty of time to review the submittal, and also balance that with getting the submittal in so that we can order the material. So it's really striking a balance.
And can you speak to which members of your team are part of that process?
Correct. Yeah, so I will be handling a good portion of the submittals. We also have a project engineer that will be coming on site, so they will also be helping me and going with the submittal process as well.
To piggyback onto the submittals, and you brought up, you've mentioned electrical and mechanical, especially electrical switchgear here lately. Do you feel like our completion date is achievable?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. Molly?
Yeah, thank you, Matt. Yes, it's achievable. I'll be really short and quick with it. Yes, it's achievable. We'll do our absolute best to get you there. We did build time in for material procurement in the schedule, and we feel comfortable with kind of the float that we're allowed, kind of based on what our critical path is. But again, the short and sweet answer is yes, we will have the building ready to go for school starting in 24.
I've got a question for Molly. So part of our maintenance crew that's going to end up maintaining this facility, they're slower, have more time in the summer months. So as you guys start to turn some of this stuff over, what's your plan to start engaging them to teach them how to maintain the building?
Yeah, that's a really great concern. Thanks for bringing that up. I think the biggest thing is once we have equipment ready or we feel comfortable enough with the work we have in place, is going to be communicating that with our owner's rep, and kind of getting their plan as well as the maintenance team's plans for having them come in. We're open to start doing turnover and training early, and we're also welcome to kind of stay back if you want to do something over like Christmas break after the building's open too. We're flexible and we're willing to work with you guys on that.
Has your team identified any risks that you think that our ownership team would be exposed to that haven't been discussed in your proposal already?
It's a good question. Everyone's concerned about risk. So there are, my opinion is, there's plenty of things that could be potentially unforeseeable. COVID was something that hit our company previously, and that was completely unforeseeable. We really hit in our proposal the major pieces of risk that we could foresee, and we don't foresee any other risk at this time, but we'd be more than happy to discuss any risk that you guys would identify.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate all the great feedback.
Thanks.